And I guess that's why they call it the blues. Time on my hand could be time spent with you. Laughing like lovers, loving, loving like children, living like lovers, rolling like thunder under the covers. And I guess that's why they call it the blues. I did a parody of that back when I was 20 years ago. I had this awful flu. Probably the worst flu I ever had in my life. And I kept playing, that song kept playing, and I'm like, I guess that's why they call it the flu. I can't remember all the lyrics. I was a little delirious at the time. And it was 20 years ago, but that rolling like thunder under the covers became running like thunder into the bathroom. And I guess that's why they call it the flu. Na 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 na. So I've given a lot of thought of what I want to do with the channel, because I want to do more. It's something to do. It's an activity to start. There's a lot of other things I want to do, but this is a start. Getting one of these up every day, or minimum 5 times a week. Yeah. So I want to start talking about some of the stuff I write and some of the stories I do and ideas. Like, whenever I'm watching a movie, whenever I'm reading a book, I'm like, how could I make this different? How could I make this not necessarily better, but my own? Like, what would I do to put my stamp on this story? If I was writing a similar plot, how would I change it up? And I don't think I always make it better, but I always make it different. And it gets me thinking about how to, especially in a shared universe like the MCU, is the classic example these days. Everybody wants a cinematic universe. Oh, cinematic. Man. So, what a lousy job I did shaving today. I should have bought razors. I let my beard grow out on my days off, and I should have bought razors. Look at how awful that is. That's just bad. I didn't say anything, but I'm going to be clean shaven except for the mustache tomorrow. That's where I'm going after this, pick up some more razors. So anyway, I just see it, and I'm like, wow. How did they? I was wearing a mask all day. That's probably why. That's probably why they didn't say anything. But man, I should have been written up. Anyway, so the MCU. I told you about the Fantastic Four. How Reed and Ben both need to have been men of action before they became superheroes. They were already heroes before they became super. That's probably the best way to put it. So what I would do with Iron Man right now, because Iron Man's a little dead. Just a little bit. And I know that can change, and they're doing a multiverse, and multiverses are usually a cop-out. It means you can't write. You've written yourself to the point where you can't write any more of the story. Not always. Sometimes they're exploring the concept, like Heinlein. But even in Number of the Beast, that was really a cop-out. I mean, the whole book was about it, so it wasn't a deus ex machina, but it was still a cop-out to get him out of the predicament he wrote his characters into. Anyway. I like this kid's book better than his adult's books. MCU, Iron Man. So Iron Man's a little dead right now. Spoiler alert. He died in Endgame, sacrificed himself to save half the universe. That's a pretty good trade-off right there. I wouldn't bring Tony Stark back. I would not go with Riri Williams. You have so much already set up inside the universe that you've already established inside the universe that you could do what I call the Iron Core. Now, this is not a comic book. This is an original idea. So the Iron Core, it's really a brilliant idea. Tony's gone. So to replace him, Rhodey James Rhodes, Jim, whatever he's calling himself these days, Don Cheadle, trains up 3 new people to wear suits with the permission of Pepper Potts and it's probably Pepper. With Pepper's permission, he trains up 3 people to use suits and draws them from the American military. And so we've got 4 characters to focus on, 4 heroes, which is a lot. One of them, so 2 should be from the military, or there should be 4 characters and Rhodey. Depends on how you want to write it. One of them should be the kid from Iron Man 3, the mechanic kid. One of them should be, and then you pull from the other branches. All of them relatively young. And the first, I was going to use the Mandarin, but they just used that for Shang-Chi, which I haven't seen it yet. It was a mistake, though. I don't like to criticize without giving constructive criticism as well. And it's done. It's not like we're going to go back and redo it. Though we could. There's a multiverse now. The Mandarin in the comics had rings, literal finger rings, and each one did something different. They weren't concussive wristbands. That just did concussive force. They effectively depowered him down quite a bit to make this movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not passing judgment on it, but I know what the Mandarin was in the comics. He was Iron Man's greatest, most challenging villain. He was a master of science and technology, and those rings put him over the edge. In his first adventures, Iron Man didn't beat him in a fight. He foiled the Mandarin's plans. Now, that's quite a distinction. And so, yeah, I wanted to use that Mandarin as my storyline, have him be conquering China, which is what the Mandarin did after he got his rings, as he started conquering parts of China. And Iron Man went over there to stop him from launching ICBMs, which China didn't have that technology in the 60s when the story was written. But the Mandarin did. Again, scientific genius. Sorry, I don't usually this much, but my throat's dry, and for once I don't have any kind of liquid in the car, and that's too bad. Anyway, yeah, I would definitely, so I need to pick a new villain, but that would be the stories. There's 3 to 4 trainees and James Rhodes. And that would be your core, like the Marine Corps, the Iron Corps. And they would take over the mantle of protecting the planet, which Tony left open. This goes back to Iron Man 1, where they get into the argument of how do you manned or unmanned vehicle. When it wasn't Don Cheadle, it was Terrence Howard playing the role. And they got into that little thing while Terrence was teaching some kids in the Air Force. Manned or unmanned. Talking about manned or unmanned, ask him about that girl down in, it wasn't Tijuana, but I can't remember where it was. Ask him about that girl down in Tijuana where he made that mistake himself. Tony's just giving it to him, you know. Anyway, yeah, an Iron Core. That's what I would do with Iron Man right now in the MCU, is bring four characters forward to take the place of Tony, which gives you interplay between the team. It gives you 4 people on the Avengers using the suits. It's good. It depends on if you want Rhodes to be 100% back or still injured from Civil War. If he's still injured, I'd go with 4. If he's 100% back in the suit, I'd go with 3. But that's what I would do. That would be the foundation of the storylines I'd write. And then you got to pick some villains, set up some plots, lead it into the mega plot, the overarching plot of whatever the next thing is. You know, Secret Invasion, Galactus, whatever it is. Yeah. All right. This has been an impromptu video.